The Jewish holiday of Passover is almost here, so I wanted to share with you guys some easy Seder ideas and Jewish family traditions for the holidays. I hope this is helpful if you are hosting Seder this year or celebrating Pesach, Passover. It's such a beautiful time of the year and can be so meaningful, spiritual, and enjoyable as a family. So I hope these ideas are helpful for you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. I will be vlogging for Passover like I always do for the Jewish holidays, and I don't want you guys to miss it. Let's start right here at my Seder table. I always recommend for you guys to download my Haggadah. It's called the Passover Haggadah. I made it a few years ago. I had been designing and making my own Haggadahs and hosting my own Seders ever since I was little because my mom used to always host and I would help her make the Haggadah. And then as soon as I graduated from college, I was hosting my own Seder for my friends. So this is something that just has always been a part of my life. And I had never really attended other people's Seders before. And when I did, I realized people were using some really unhelpful Haggadahs when it came to the Seder experience. They didn't know what to say and what they could skip. There was so much, I don't want to say useless text, but text that got in the way of having a meaningful connection to the experience. And it was just kind of confusing and boring, to be honest. So when I started my YouTube channel and Instagram page, something I always cared really deeply about was making the Seder experience easier for you guys and more meaningful. And that's when I designed my Haggadah. So it's available on Etsy. You buy it one time as a digital download, and then you can print it for how many guests you have, how many Seders you want to do in your life. You can, do what you want with it, basically. But it just has the essentials and some really meaningful text to read and beautiful songs, the traditional songs, as the 4 questions kind of thing. Just everything you need for the Seder and nothing you don't. I get asked a lot how long it takes. If you breeze through it, you can do it in about 20 minutes. If you really take the time and do the discussion questions and all the songs, you could be closer to 30 or 45 if you stretch it out. But I think that's a good amount of Seder experience time. So that's my first recommendation, is get a good Haggadah, even if it's not much. Next thing I want to share about is guest participation. Even before they arrive, I always ask my guests to bring a dish. Usually I ask them to just bring a dessert because that's easiest. But when they contribute to the meal as well as the Seder itself, which I'll get into it in a second, they have a stake. They have a part and a component, and they are part of it. So it adds meaning to them and it creates less work for you. So the easiest way to incorporate your guests during the actual Seder is to go around and everybody read a part instead of having one leader do everything. So at our Seder, we'll each take a paragraph and just kind of go around the table. When I was younger, we used to assign parts because we would often have the same people attend the Seder, so you could use the Haggadahs year after year. So that takes a little bit more time, but I do love that tradition if you have the time to do it, to actually write out on the Haggadah. You could use Post-it notes, things like that, if you want to assign the parts ahead of time. The other thing I like to do is encourage guests to each bring either a poem or a short thing to read, or even just an inspirational quote. You can fill your Seder experience and the Haggadahs with things that are meaningful to you. In mine, I include a bit of a sermon that my rabbi from when I was younger had written. So I personally love the idea of asking your guests to bring in a meaningful quote or poem or something that they think would enhance the experience for everyone, and each taking turns to read that throughout the Seder. Let's chat about kids at the Seder. I'm a Jewish mom to 3 little boys who are now ages 8, 6, and 3.5. So our Seders are very kid-friendly. I have a kid-friendly Haggadah, I have a kid-focused Haggadah, which I'll share here. It's also available for download on my Etsy shop. This one is about a 10-minute Seder. It's just the highlights, the fun, the singing, and is perfect for young children. There are so many things you can do during the Seder to make it more fun for them. We love acting out the plagues, little puppets or props. That's always such a fun one. If you have older elementary school kids, you can absolutely do a little reenactment of the Exodus story. Have them go practice even just one scene or one part of it and then perform it for the guests at the Seder. We did that when we were younger. We would dress up and make our own props and had so much fun with it. Participation at any age really is key to enjoying the Seder experience and making it memorable and meaningful for everybody. The idea that our family came up with during COVID times was an afikoman scavenger hunt. We actually did it on Zoom with the grandparents during that year. But the tradition has really stayed with us. Instead of just having the kids go around to find the afikomen and search for it, we do a little scavenger hunt. Makes it last longer, have it be more fun, more exciting, and I love this idea. Also something you can do before the Seder or after the Seder. It doesn't have to just be at the end during the afikomen hunt to make it more fun for the kids. Speaking of hosting kids, something else I like to do is host a Passover potluck play date. It's hard to host a lot of children for the Seder. It just is hard to have a real Seder when there's 20 kids running around. So I love a Passover play date. Passover is usually during spring break anyways. People are off work and school and looking for something to do. So if you want to take the pressure off and not host Seder, a Passover play date can be a really fun idea. We like to have everyone bring a kosher for Passover dish that the kids can try. We'll do the afikomen scavenger hunt and then just have a fun time to hang out and be together. Sometimes being together with your friends is the most important part of all. I popped into my kitchen to talk about prepping, cleaning, and cooking for Passover. These traditions can often be the hardest, especially for the mom and the family. What I like to do is pre-make ahead of time. You can do over a week ahead of time, put it in the freezer. Your matzo ball soup, if you want to serve that, and your main meat protein. I love doing a brisket and a roasted chicken. And those are great ones to make ahead of time, pop in the freezer or the refrigerator so you don't have to worry about it day of. Day of my Seder, I'll usually just be making the salad and vegetables. And those are two of the things I really love to ask friends to bring, because then I don't have to worry about getting my kitchen messy and getting stressed about things that need to be prepared day of Seder when you're having all these guests coming into your home. My other tip for cooking is we often have so many special family recipes. I know when I was younger, my mom homemade everything from the gefilte fish, kugel, like kichel, literally everything from scratch, and it's just too much for me. So what I like to do is choose one family recipe, take my time on it, follow all the instructions, do it beautifully, remember my mom and grandma and everyone else that, contributed to that recipe and highlight it at the table. And the rest, I just keep it super simple. Doing oven baked potatoes, oven grilled chicken, brisket in the slow cooker, things that I make often and are easy for me. So I have maybe one elevated special dish and the rest I keep it simple. Of course, you can buy the food too if you want to get a pre-made Passover dessert or something like that. It doesn't all have to be homemade. It doesn't say that in the Bible. And speaking of doing things ahead of time, you guys always laugh at me for doing my Seder tables so far in advance, but it really is just the best thing. Be honest, you're not using your dining room table that often, and for me it's so helpful to have it set. And I love doing a tablescape, as it's called on the Pinterest Instagram world, and I love having the time to do that. So if you save it for the last minute, it's going to be stressful. I like having the time in the weeks leading up to Passover to kind of design how I want the table to look. I'll try out some flowers and then have them for Shabbat, things like that. That's the part I really enjoy, so I like doing it in advance. Beautiful things on Passover. One of my other favorite traditions is to get a new dress or something nice to wear for Passover. I get one for myself and usually the kids too. We like taking a family photo in the springtime. I actually just got this dress from Target. I don't know if I need to size down. I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn between the medium and the small, but I'll link it for you. It's on sale today. I don't know about when you watch this video, but it was like around $30 and so pretty for spring. I love the flower detail, but I love a spring dress, and it just feels nice when you're going to so much work prepping the Seder, cooking all the food, doing all that, to just treat yourself a little bit so that you feel nice and special on the day of it. So those are my ideas for an easy and simple Seder experience and a fun, joyful family holiday. I hope they've helped you. Let me know what traditions you guys have in your home that help you. I'd love to incorporate them into my home. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I mentioned is linked down below, and definitely stay tuned and subscribe for more Passover and Jewish holiday content. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!